Frost and Merrick Garland signing off on Arctic Frost, Operation Arctic Frost. Merrick Garland personally signed off on it.
Yes, well, we've known, and now this, of course, just confirms just the extent and magnitude of corruption, weaponization, and criminality that occurred in the previous Justice Department, and it is our hope, wish, and desire that there will be, obviously, total transparency and accountability for all wrongdoing. Any other questions?
Stephen, Doug Ford in Canada said he's going to put pause on those ads that angered the president. Does the White House have a reaction to the Canadians putting pause?
I want to give a chance for the White House and the president to be able to respond before I make news on that right now. So we will circle back with you on that.
Is the president still angry at Canada?
But, the president has been very clear about his extreme displeasure with what took place, and I will leave it to the president to provide an update on that.
Can I ask about the USS Ford is considering plans to target cocaine facility and drug trafficking routes inside Venezuela? Can you speak to that? And given that Venezuela is not a cocaine-producing country, can you explain what the plans are there?
Well, so obviously I would not now or ever get into any detailed discussion to address any of the things mentioned in your question in any way, but I do want to address the broader issue of narcotics and the war on cartels and foreign terrorist organizations. So Venezuela, of course, is a central hub for narcotics trafficking across the Western Hemisphere. Also weapons trafficking, also human trafficking as well too. And we know that the Maduro regime is the Cartel de Sols, which is a recognized and designated narco-trafficking organization, and also Tren de Aragua is a recognized FTO, foreign terrorist organization. And so this is a central hub of terrorist activity across the Western Hemisphere. And just more broadly, as was made clear in the event yesterday, the President of the United States has made clear that narco-terrorists and narco-trafficking is a terrorist activity. These organizations are the ISIS of the Western Hemisphere. They control territory, they field armies, they exert enormous political control over nations and regions and governments and judicial systems through extortion, kidnapping, blackmail, murder, rape. And so we kind of have a situation in the Western Hemisphere where we have large, fully militarized terrorist organizations that, again, control commerce, control travel, control political systems, control the movement of weapons, people, goods, slaves, into the form of human trafficking and sex trafficking, and of course narcotics that are responsible for hundreds of thousands of American dead. Yes.
Status of layoffs, should we expect to see more federal employees be fired from their jobs?
Well, the longer the Democrats keep the government shut down, by definition, the more people that are at risk of losing employment and, of course, income as well too, which is very tragic. That's why we continue to push for a clean funding bill to reopen the government and pay all of the federal workers and get back to the business of the American people. Yes?
Can I ask you about the USS Ford going to the U.S. Southern Command area being moved today? The Pentagon announced, or was beginning that movement today. Is this a sign that land strikes are imminent?
Well, again, and I appreciate the earnestness of the question, but obviously I'm not going to answer any questions like that. I would just reiterate my previous answer, which is that these designated FTOs are the ISIS of the Western Hemisphere, and as the President made clear yesterday, they will be dealt with just as we dealt with ISIS. Any other questions?
What are you expecting to see on the Asia trip? On the Asia trip, are you expecting to see a trade deal with China?
Well, the President looks forward greatly to his meeting with President Xi, and I believe he'll probably have a lot more to say about that to you and others in the press, so again, I don't want to get ahead of him. But he's looking forward to the meeting immensely, as well as, of course, our meetings in many other countries of the region, both to promote peace, security, prosperity, and of course to celebrate the extraordinary trade deal with Japan, which will unlock one of the largest waves of foreign investment in America, in American history. One last question.
Would the
administration consider putting U.S. troops on the ground in any capacity inside Venezuela?
Well, I would refer to what Secretary Higgs said yesterday in terms of how the Department of War is viewing the issue of the strategies that are being used to fight these terrorists in the Western Hemisphere. And I'll just continue to reiterate what I've said before, and I know that you want more detailed answers than I can provide. But these are terrorists, and they're going to be killed. Thank you very much.
But it's a significant escalation, Stephen, right?